Emergency truck repairs on the highway, when skilled hands meet deadly conditions. Imagine you're driving down a lonely stretch of highway in the middle of nowhere when suddenly you see it. A massive 18-wheeler pulled over on the shoulder, smoke pouring from underneath, the driver pacing frantically beside it. You drive past, grateful it's not your problem, never thinking twice about what happens next. But what if I told you that in the next few hours, that broken-down truck is going to be back on the road, sharing lanes with you and your family, repaired using methods so dangerous and improvised that they would make any safety inspector's jaw drop? Right at this very moment, somewhere on a dusty highway in Punjab, Pakistan, or outside Mumbai, India, or on a rural road in Bangladesh, a mechanic is crawling under a disabled truck with nothing but a toolbox, a welding torch, and skills passed down through generations. No tow truck is coming. No certified repair shop is waiting. Just raw determination, incredible talent, and conditions so extreme that one wrong move could mean death. What you're about to discover will make you question everything you thought you knew about vehicle safety, and it might just make you look at every truck on the road with completely different eyes. These aren't just repairs. These are acts of survival, performed by men who dance with danger every single day to keep the wheels of commerce turning. In the scorching heat of a Pakistani summer, where temperatures climb past 120 degrees Fahrenheit and the asphalt literally melts under the sun, a truck driver named Ahmed finds himself in the worst situation imaginable. His heavily loaded truck, carrying 15 tons of textiles destined for the port city of Karachi, has just suffered a catastrophic breakdown on National Highway 5. The drive shaft has snapped clean in half, leaving the truck completely immobilized in the middle of a journey that's already running late. Every hour of delay costs money he doesn't have. Every phone call from the customer asking about the delivery adds more pressure. In America, this would mean calling roadside assistance, waiting for a tow truck, and transporting the vehicle to a certified repair facility. But Ahmed isn't in America. He's 3 hours from the nearest city, on a highway where help doesn't come easy. So he does what thousands of truck drivers do every single day in this part of the world. He makes a phone call to a roadside mechanic named Hassan who operates what locals call a mobile workshop. Within an hour, Hassan arrives on a beat-up motorcycle, his tools strapped to the back in a worn canvas bag. And what happens next is going to absolutely blow your mind. Have you ever wondered what it really takes to fix a broken truck when there's no shop, no lift, and no safety net? Hassan parks his motorcycle and walks slowly around the disabled truck, his experienced eyes taking in every detail. The broken drive shaft is obvious, the two pieces hanging uselessly from their mounting points. But what's not obvious to an untrained observer is everything else Hassan is evaluating. The condition of the universal joints, the alignment of the transmission output shaft, whether the damage extended to the differential or the transfer case. He crawls underneath without a jack, without a creeper, just sliding his body into the dirt and gravel beneath several tons of truck that's supported only by its own suspension. His assistant, a young man named Jamal who's learning the trade, hands him a flashlight, and Hassan begins his inspection in the suffocating heat beneath the vehicle. The smell of hot oil and diesel fuel is overwhelming, making breathing difficult. But Hassan has done this hundreds of times before, and he knows exactly what he's looking for. After 10 minutes of poking, prodding, and measuring with nothing but his hands and eyes, he slides back out and delivers his verdict. The drive shaft is destroyed, but everything else is salvageable. The truck can be fixed right here, right now. Where are you watching this video from, and what's your name? Now here's where things get absolutely insane. In a proper repair facility, replacing a truck drive shaft is a major job requiring a hydraulic lift, precision measuring tools, balancing equipment, and several hours of careful work. But Hassan doesn't have any of that. What he does have is a portable welding machine powered by a small gasoline generator, a collection of well-worn hand tools, and 3 decades of experience doing impossible repairs in impossible conditions. He sends Jamal on the motorcycle to a nearby truck stop where they keep a small inventory of salvaged parts. The young apprentice returns an hour later with a used drive shaft pulled from a wrecked truck, not an exact match for Ahmed's vehicle, but close enough that Hassan believes he can make it work. And this is where the real magic and the real danger begins. The old drive shaft needs to come out first, which means disconnecting it from both the transmission and the differential. Hassan and Jamal position themselves under the truck again, this time with wrenches and breaker bars, fighting against bolts that haven't been removed in years and are seized solid by rust and road grime. The heat underneath that truck is absolutely brutal, easily exceeding 140 degrees with no air movement whatsoever. Sweat pours from Hassan's face, soaking his clothes, making the tools slippery in his hands. But he works methodically, applying exactly the right amount of force to each stubborn bolt. Too little pressure and nothing happens. Too much pressure and something breaks, turning a difficult job into an impossible one. After nearly 2 hours of exhausting work, the damaged drive shaft finally comes free. But removing the old part is just the first challenge. Now comes the really tricky part, making the replacement drive shaft fit. The salvaged shaft is about 2 inches too long for Ahmed's truck, which means it needs to be cut and modified. In a professional shop, this would be done on precision equipment with careful measurements and calculations. Hassan is going to do it with a cutting torch in his eyeballs. If you're as fascinated by this incredible display of skill under extreme conditions as I am, I need you to do something right now. Hit that like button and smash that subscribe button because we're bringing you stories that nobody else is telling. This is real life, real people, real skills that deserve to be recognized and respected. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss a single episode because we're going deep into the world of emergency repairs and survival mechanics that keep the developing world moving. Share this video with anyone who appreciates true craftsmanship, because what you're seeing here is something special. Your support helps us continue documenting these amazing stories. Hassan fires up his cutting torch, adjusting the gas mixture until the flame burns with that perfect blue-white intensity that means it's hot enough to slice through steel. Jamal holds the drive shaft steady while Hassan carefully measures where the cut needs to be made. There's no measuring tape, no ruler, no precision instruments. He's using his thumb as a measuring device, comparing lengths by sight and feel, making calculations in his head based on years of experience. The torch touches the metal, and sparks begin to fly in every direction. The cut needs to be perfectly straight, perfectly perpendicular to the shaft's axis, or the whole thing will vibrate when it spins at highway speeds. Hassan's hand is rock steady despite the heat, despite the awkward position, despite the knowledge that any mistake means starting over with a different shaft that might take another day to locate. The torch moves slowly, methodically, carving through solid steel like it's butter. Within minutes, a glowing section of drive shaft falls away, and Hassan immediately plunges it into a bucket of dirty water to cool it down. But cutting the shaft is only half the challenge. Now the two pieces need to be perfectly aligned and welded back together with a new center section that Hassan fabricates from a piece of scrap pipe he keeps in his tool collection. This is the moment where everything can go right or catastrophically wrong. If the weld isn't strong enough, the drive shaft will fail under load, possibly causing an accident. If the pieces aren't perfectly aligned, the shaft will be unbalanced, causing vibration that will destroy bearings and eventually lead to another breakdown. Hassan cleans both cut surfaces with a wire brush, removing any oil, dirt, or oxidation that would compromise the weld. Then he positions the pieces with the center section in place, using adjustable clamps and pieces of wood as positioning aids. He checks the alignment by eye from multiple angles, making tiny adjustments until everything looks right. Then and only then does he strike an arc with his welding torch. The welding process is mesmerizing to watch. Hassan runs bead after perfect bead around the joint, building up the weld metal until the connection is actually stronger than the original shaft. His technique is flawless, the result of countless hours of practice and natural talent that can't be taught. But the conditions he's working in are absolutely horrific. The welding arc is blindingly bright in the harsh sunlight, but Hassan has only basic eye protection, nothing close to the auto-darkening helmets that modern welders take for granted. The fumes from the welding rod rise directly into his face, and he breathes them with every breath. His hands, just inches from metal that's glowing orange hot, are protected only by thin cotton gloves that are more holes than fabric at this point. Jamal watches intently, learning techniques that no technical school can teach, understanding that this knowledge is what will allow him to survive in this profession. After the welding is complete, Hassan faces another critical decision. The newly welded drive shaft needs to be balanced or it will destroy itself and everything it's connected to. In a proper shop, this is done on a specialized balancing machine that spins the shaft at high speed and measures any vibration, then indicates exactly where to add or remove weight to achieve perfect balance. Hassan has no such machine. Instead, he hangs the shaft from a rope and spins it by hand, watching how it moves, feeling for any wobble or irregular rotation. His eyes track the spinning shaft with intense concentration, looking for any deviation from perfect circular motion. Then, using a grinding wheel powered by a small electric motor running off his generator, he removes tiny amounts of metal from specific spots, constantly testing and adjusting until the shaft spins true. It's a process that takes patience, skill, and an almost supernatural ability to judge balance by sight alone. Now comes the installation, and this might be the most dangerous part of the entire operation. Hassan and Jamal need to lift the 50-pound drive shaft up into position under the truck and connect it to both the transmission and the differential while lying on their backs in the dirt. The truck is supported only by its own suspension, not by jack stands or any proper safety equipment. If the truck shifts or settles while they're underneath, they could be crushed. But they've done this so many times that the danger barely registers anymore. It's just another day at work. Hassan slides under the truck with the drive shaft, maneuvering it into position with Jamal's help from the other side. They work together with the coordination of a dance team, each knowing instinctively what the other needs without having to say a word. Bolts are started by hand, then tightened with wrenches, then torqued down with breaker bars until Hassan judges they're tight enough. The moment of truth arrives. Ahmed, who has been watching this entire process with a mixture of hope and anxiety, climbs into the driver's seat. Hassan signals for him to start the engine. The big diesel motor rumbles to life, and Hassan listens intently for any unusual sounds. Everything seems normal so far. He signals for Ahmed to put the transmission in gear. The clutch engages, the drive shaft begins to turn, and the truck starts to move forward. Hassan walks alongside, one hand on the truck's frame, feeling for vibration. At low speed, everything feels smooth. But the real test comes at highway speed, and there's only one way to find out if the repair will hold. Ahmed drives the truck slowly at first, gradually building speed as Hassan follows on his motorcycle. At 30 miles per hour, everything still feels good. At 40, there's a slight vibration that Hassan notices but judges to be acceptable. At 50, the vibration smooths out and Ahmed breathes a sigh of relief. But here's the part that's going to make you think. That truck, with its improvised repair done in the dirt on the side of the highway, is now going to drive 500 miles at highway speeds, sharing the road with buses full of passengers, cars full of families, motorcycles carrying entire families. The drive shaft that's transferring engine power to the wheels was welded together with basic equipment, balanced by eye, and installed without any of the safety precautions or quality control measures that would be standard in a developed country. Is it safe? That's a complicated question. Hassan's repair will probably hold for months or even years. His welding is actually quite good, his balancing technique works, and his installation was done correctly. But there's no warranty, no guarantee, no way to verify that everything was done to proper specifications. It either works or it doesn't, and if it fails, the consequences could be catastrophic. This scene plays out thousands of times every single day across South Asia, Africa, and parts of Latin America. Skilled mechanics like Hassan perform miracles with minimal equipment, fixing trucks, buses, and commercial vehicles that break down far from any proper repair facility. They work in conditions that would be illegal in developed countries, without safety equipment that's considered basic and essential everywhere else. Yet they get the job done, keeping goods moving, keeping economies functioning, keeping families fed. Their skills are extraordinary, developed through years of apprenticeship and hands-on experience that can't be replicated in any classroom. But those skills come at a terrible cost. Hassan has burn scars covering his arms from years of welding accidents. His hearing is damaged from working around loud equipment without protection. His lungs are compromised from breathing welding fumes and metal dust. His back is permanently injured from years of working in awkward positions under heavy vehicles. He's 48 years old but looks 60, aged prematurely by the physical toll of his profession. The economics of this situation are brutal and unforgiving. Hassan charges Ahmed about $300 for this repair, which includes his time, his assistant's time, the cost of the salvaged drive shaft, and the welding materials. In comparison, the same repair at a proper facility in Karachi or Lahore would cost at least $1,500, possibly more. For Ahmed, who operates on razor-thin profit margins and is already struggling to make his truck payments, the choice isn't really a choice at all. He can't afford the proper repair, so he takes the roadside repair and hopes for the best. Hassan knows this, which is why he takes pride in doing the best possible work under the circumstances. He's not trying to cut corners or do substandard work. He's trying to provide a solution that keeps his customer in business while charging a price that's affordable in a developing economy. Let's talk about what this same repair would look like in the United States or Western Europe. First, the truck wouldn't be allowed to sit on the highway shoulder for hours while a repair is performed. It would be towed immediately to a certified repair facility for safety reasons. Once at the shop, technicians would conduct a complete inspection to determine the extent of the damage and whether anything else was affected by the drive shaft failure. The replacement drive shaft would be new or professionally remanufactured, meeting exact OEM specifications. It would be installed using proper equipment, including hydraulic lifts, torque wrenches calibrated to precise specifications, and alignment tools that ensure everything is positioned correctly. The finished repair would be tested, documented, and backed by warranties from both the parts supplier and the repair facility. The entire process would take at least a day, possibly longer, and cost several $1,000s. But the result would be a repair that's as safe and reliable as humanly possible. So which approach is better? From a pure safety standpoint, the Western method is obviously superior. But from an economic survival standpoint, Hassan's method is the only option that makes sense for millions of people. This isn't about choosing what's ideal. It's about making the best of a difficult situation with the resources available. Hassan isn't ignorant of proper repair procedures. He knows exactly what should be done in a perfect world. But he also knows that perfect world doesn't exist for his customers, so he does what's possible with what he has. And remarkably, his repairs usually work. Trucks that he fixes on the roadside often continue operating for months or years afterward. That's not because the repairs are up to Western standards. It's because Hassan is extraordinarily skilled at working within severe limitations. The human cost of this system extends beyond just the mechanics. Truck drivers like Ahmed spend their lives in a constant state of anxiety, never knowing when their aging, overworked vehicles will break down next. They push their trucks beyond reasonable limits because they have to, because stopping means losing money, because maintenance is expensive and their margins are small. When something breaks, they patch it together and keep moving, accumulating temporary fixes on top of previous temporary fixes until the vehicle becomes a rolling collection of improvised repairs. Eventually, something fails catastrophically and people get hurt or killed. But the economic pressure to keep moving, to keep earning, is so intense that stopping simply isn't an option. What would actually help improve this situation? The answer isn't as simple as imposing Western standards and regulations, because those standards assume an economic and infrastructure context that doesn't exist in these countries. What's needed is a middle path that acknowledges economic realities while still pushing for gradual improvement. Providing mechanics like Hassan with better basic equipment wouldn't require huge investments. A proper jack and jack stands, basic safety glasses and gloves, access to simple diagnostic tools, these things could dramatically improve both safety and repair quality without pricing services beyond what customers can afford. Establishing networks where mechanics can access affordable replacement parts instead of having to rely entirely on salvaged components would help. Creating training programs that build on existing skills while introducing better techniques and safety practices would make a difference. International organizations, equipment manufacturers, and large companies that benefit from these global supply chains could invest in these improvements if they chose to. The technology exists. The knowledge exists. What's missing is the will to make it happen and the recognition that investing in better conditions for roadside mechanics in developing countries ultimately benefits everyone through safer, more reliable transportation. But so far, these investments haven't materialized on any meaningful scale because the current system works well enough from a business perspective, even if it's deeply flawed from a human and safety perspective. As we wrap up this journey into the world of emergency highway repairs, I want you to carry this awareness with you. Every truck you see on the road has a history of repairs, maintenance, and patches that you can't see from the outside. Some of those repairs were done in modern facilities with the best equipment available. Others were done on highway shoulders by skilled mechanics working in extreme conditions with minimal resources. You can't tell which is which just by looking. That uncertainty is part of modern life in a globalized world where products and vehicles cross borders constantly, carrying with them the repair histories and maintenance practices of many different countries with vastly different standards and resources. Hassan, Jamal, Ahmed, and millions of workers like them deserve recognition for what they do. They keep the world moving under conditions that most people can't imagine. Their skills are remarkable, their determination is inspiring, and their daily courage in facing dangerous working conditions is humbling. They deserve better equipment, safer working conditions, and fair compensation for the incredible value they provide. But they also deserve respect for what they're already accomplishing with what they have. These aren't careless people doing sloppy work. These are professionals doing their absolute best within severe constraints imposed by economic realities beyond their control. In our next episode, we're going to explore another aspect of roadside repair culture that's equally fascinating and challenging. We'll look at how engine rebuilds are performed in the field, often while the engine is still in the vehicle, using techniques that will leave you shaking your head in disbelief. Make sure you're subscribed because these stories need to be told, these skills need to be recognized, and these working conditions need to be understood by people who benefit from the systems they support. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and remember that behind every product you use, behind every service you enjoy, there are people doing incredible work in conditions you might never see but should definitely know about.